Welcome to part 2 of our Amawaterways Amadara Mekong River Cruise series. In this video we experience our first excursions as we begin to immerse ourselves in Vietnamese life. We also enjoy a first ride on a very unusual mode of transport.
So then it was time to join our excursion. So we had to meet in the Saigon Lounge and we waited for our yellow, we're a yellow family. So we waited for Young to hold his yellow banner up and for us to follow on.
It's yellow banner.
What is it all?
It's
table
like
tap.
Table tennis bar.
And we headed to the tender boats because we're being taken down the river by the tender boats. Yellow's team's 10.
Make sure that we have a bottle of water, especially if you go to the island.
Get ready to put 2 bottles in there and Pauline.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have you got 2, Paul? Have you got 2? It's okay, we've got 2. Thank you. Thank you. They're really authentic, aren't they? Vietnamese tender boats, and that was great because you can always get some fabulous shots of the ship because we do love a tender. Grab the old doofers, Paulie.
Grab the old doofers.
Yeah, you've got Vox boxes, which if you've seen our previous river cruises, we've done one with TUI and one with Avalon. And with Avalon we had the same system, didn't we?
Yeah. So you got this little chap here you hang around your neck.
Yeah.
And depending on what group you're in, there's lots of different channels on here.
You can see.
And you just put whatever channel your guide tells you to do. And then you got a little earpiece there,
yeah,
which you just lob that on your ear, and then you feel like you're on BBC News. Oh, news just in. Ooh.
Yes, and it worked really well. The sound was good. So as soon as we sat down in the tender, Jung started giving us all the information about what to expect. Our excursion was to a place called Cai-Be, C-A-I-B-E. And we were going to watch them make some candy, some rice paper, rice wine, and just the sweets, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a family-run business, had a little business, everything's made on site.
The tender to Cai-Be took around 20 minutes, which gave us our first proper look at riverside Vietnamese life.
Please stick with me for a couple of minutes. Let me share with you what they are doing here. Later on, I will give you some 15-20 minutes on your own to either shop or to apply for the job. Smell the snow as well. So later, if you book another river cruise with Amawaterways, your cruise manager Tung will give you a free bucket of rice ashes. So this is the material. So this is a mixture of rice flour with tapioca flour, yeah, and salt. Using the hot stream of water to steam the rice paper. Yeah? It's a very simple process. Every day she works for about 5 to 6 hours to make about 4 or 5 red rice papers. It's just like a spreading, like making a pancake. Yeah? So after you spreading it, you close the lid for about 45 seconds or a minute. And as you are waiting, you make a call to your in-laws. That's how it lasts. Yeah.
How long is that?
That's pretty long.
Oh, that's pretty long. Okay. So the first step is easy, but the second step it can be more difficult. You have to be more careful because it's hot. Yeah. If you don't be careful, you may get burned from the hot steam. Yeah. So the husk is removed from the rice milling factory. Yeah. So with the bamboo stick, you find a place to put it underneath the rice paper, yeah, and you roll it 1-2 times, then you simply lifting it up and take it out, yeah, and then you get the rice paper. Yeah. This is quite a bigger size than the rice paper you have seen before, yeah, because this is for the local market, local order, yeah. So because Vietnamese people, we're small, but we have a bigger stomach. And to remove the outer husk, there's a big sharp tool here. So they have to remove it by hand, manually, yeah. So they're just using this one to remove. Yeah. So after removing the rice husk, they can use the outer husk here for fuel. So that's why you see a lot of rice husks. They are being dried on the street. Yeah. And they can also use the coconut fiber to make ropes and carpets. Yeah. With the whole coconut outer, they can also use tea cozy to keep the teapot. Yeah. So later on the table you might see them. Hỏi làm bánh tráng luôn đi, xong rồi này đi vô luôn. With the coconut juice and the water, they only use for drinking. To remove the coconut flesh, they have another tool. There's some sharp side on this side, so I think I can demonstrate it a bit here. So you just simply step on this side, and then you use the top sharpening stick to remove the flesh. Yeah. And after removing the coconut flesh, you can put them in the bag where you press the bag to get the coconut milk. And later they use the coconut milk for making the candy that we'll see in a minute. With the leftover of the coconut flesh, they can use for feeding the poultry or pigs, or they can also use as fertilizer.
Probably one of the most fascinating things for me was this lad who didn't look very old at all, did he?
No.
He was making the equivalent of popcorn.
Yes.
But it was with rice flavour, with caramel, or they do.
Or a pandan leaf.
Yeah, which is.
You see the green snacks in the Vietnamese shops. That's pandan leaf.
I think here they make pop rice. Yeah. So the same with the rice paper, lady. The pop rice boy, he also using the rice husk for fire. There you can see the fire here. These are the rough rice. These rough rice, they are harvested from the paddy field. Yeah. So they still contain the grain of rice inside. So later on, the man the boy, he will put these rough rice into the wok. Inside the wok, they have some sand, just regular sand. Using sand or stone, hot sand or hot stone, to transfer the heat equally to every rough rice to make the pork rice is very common method. It's gonna take very quickly for about 30-45 seconds to make the pork rice. We have 2 filters here. So this first filter to separate the pork rice with the sand. So later he can reuse the sand over and over again. And the second filter to separate the pork rice with the rice husk. You can hear it popping now. have a wooden table here. So after stirring and mixing, he will put them into this table. And to press the pot noodles, there's a big rolling pin. And you see on the wooden table they are marked. Yeah, because later after using the rolling pin to press the pop rice or the pop noodles, they will use a big knife and the ruler to cut them in equally size. That's how you get a flat bell. So after cutting and wrapping is the final process. Yeah. So again, later on, if you try the pop rice cake, it has peanut. Yeah. So the pop rice cake with peanut is a sweet flavor, but the pop noodle, what he's making, it has a savory flavor. Yeah. And with the green one here, this is the pop rice cake with the pandan flavor. Yeah.
One woman whose entire job is individually wrapping sweets.
Yeah.
She does about 6,000 a day, they said.
Exactly.
It wouldn't be for me because I'd probably eat 5,000, but...
I found the lady making the rice paper because it's such an art, so it's fascinating. And then obviously the byproduct of this, and a byproduct of rice, is obviously rice wine. And at the end, wasn't it, Jung was just telling us about the various types of wines that they have and the flavours they put in, and one is snake. And in this big jar, as you can see here, was the big snake just staring at us, wasn't it?
Apparently it's got quite a bite to it.
Oh dear. But we didn't try that. But we did try some of the local tea and the sweets, and they were delicious, weren't they?
Really nice.
Really, really nice. So that was really interesting, and we thoroughly enjoyed that. So our next stop on the excursion was the Kiat House.
The Kiat Old House in Kai Bay.
That's right.
It's 150 years old, and it's full of all sorts of ornate wooden furniture, shrines,
Antiques,
ceramics. Those two massive big, they got these sort of bases that they sleep on, and they're just like a wooden base, and it's quite an honour to get to sleep on these, apparently, because if you're not somebody special, you have to sleep on the floor.
It was really interesting and beautiful. You can actually stay there now, can't you?
Yeah.
You can book to stay. And the family have opened up, and there's a restaurant there and beautiful gardens, which we'll show you now. Say something about our group, our yellow family. We've met some fantastic people so far, haven't we? And Jung, our tour guide, has just been delightful, just full of knowledge and just so much fun. Really great sense of humour, and he really gets sort of the British humour, doesn't he? Because
he's
it's
a massive Mickey taker, honestly.
He is.
And he was, when you're walking along with your headsets on,
which are working really well.
Yeah, they are working really well.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether you're at the front or at the back, and he'll say something, and the whole of the yellow family will laugh out loud. It's fabulous. It's so funny. One other thing about the old house is in the gardens, I have never seen such a fine array of different fruits.
Yeah.
And I also saw something that I'd never seen before in the flesh, which was a cacao fruit.
Yes.
And it's like a long sort of fat banana.
Yeah.
And Jung said if we didn't guess what it was, we weren't allowed to leave ever. Yeah. And it was looking like we were going to be staying there forever. And then Jane.
We've met Tom and Jane, who we've been having dinner with, who were lovely.
Luckily, busted out the answer.
Yeah.
And I've never ever, and he kept saying to us, I'm sure all of you have definitely had probably at least this like 10 times. What he didn't realise is I'd had like probably 10 lots of it that day.
Yeah,
but
so the cocoa bean, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely fascinating. So there was all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff.
There was also sprinklers. Now, Vietnam is hot and humid, and you've got to make sure you put on your sun cream, drink plenty of water. But walking through these gardens, I just held my hands in the air with my cameras and just stood by the sprinklers. It was lovely. But yeah, beautiful gardens, beautiful house, and a great excursion. So just so educational, wasn't it, Pauline?
It is. I feel enriched.
Yeah.
By the experience.
Yeah, honestly, it's been really good.
It was time to head back to the tender, but our walk back gave us a few surprises. After a very educational talk from Tung all about Vietnam, it was time for lunch.
There's two options for lunch on Amadara. You can go to the Mekong restaurant for $12.30, isn't it, for regular waitress served lunch, or you can go to the Sun Deck where they do a limited menu of burgers and pizza and things like that.
Pizzas and salads and a few bits and pieces.
Paul said, "Oh, I fancy a cheeseburger." I said, "Do you know what, I do too." So we had one, and do you know, they're very good. The food on here since we've been on here has just been exceptional. We haven't had a bad meal, have we?
No, not at all.
And the service, there's
Shrelek.
Who's just such a laugh. I wrote her name down because she's just so Sreyleak, and she's been just hysterical, hasn't she? It's sussed Paul out straight away.
The level of mickey taken from a few members of the staff has been exceptional, I have to say, and I love it. And like I said, they worked me out straight away. Well, they got me right where they want me, really, aren't they? So, which is fabulous.
And we've had such a laugh with her. And she tends to work on the Sun Deck in the bar, but then she comes down to the Saigon Lounge in the evenings too. All the staff, you see them all the time, and they're always smiling and happy. I know I keep saying this, but this is such a really happy ship, isn't it? Yeah. And those that know, that sounds a weird thing to say. Oh, this is a happy ship, but people that are regular cruisers, you'll know exactly what I mean. Sometimes you go on a ship and you say, "Do you know, this is really nice, everything's as it should be," but when you get on a ship that's got that extra atmosphere, I guess I'm trying to say, it just makes you...
I thought you were going to say je ne sais quoi.
Well, it's you know, it's been fabulous. So lunch up on the Sun Deck was a right result, wasn't it?
It was fabulous.
Feeling full and contented from our lunch, we headed back to our cabin to enjoy the views of the Mekong River from our balcony. After relaxing on our balcony, we headed to the Sun Deck to watch the sun go down.
So then it was time for dinner. Dinner is served in the Mekong restaurant, and tonight it was served with all the staff in the traditional Vietnamese, not costume, but clothes, wasn't it? Is it costume clothes?
I'm going to go costume.
Yeah.
But they look fabulous.
Yeah.
The colours were just spectacular.
And the service again was absolutely superb. Makara, who is the maitre d' in the restaurant, is just everywhere, isn't she?
There's about 8 of them. I think there's about 8 of all of them.
I know. Because they're just so efficient and so good.
There must be like a fireman's pole going between decks. Because you see them in one place, and you get downstairs, and they're there as well.
Yeah, just lovely to see. And the food, we started, it was quite a comprehensive menu as you'll see here. And we started off with the Vietnamese chicken, enoki mushroom rice paper rolls with tiger prawns fried in green rice flakes. And oh my, it was just delicious. We had a bean sprout soup, which was again fantastic with prawn in.
Yeah.
And then I went for the pork rib, and it was just melt in your mouth with this, such a tasty dew, wasn't it? It was just awesome.
I had some prawns. It came with this, it was like a rectangle. It was a rice cake, and the rice cake I know like.
No.
Actually, but I have to say, the prawns were absolutely superb.
And then I had durian ice cream, which tasted delicious actually. For those of you who've met durian, king of the fruit, it's a smelly, smelly fruit, but I've never eaten it, but I don't know how much was in that ice cream.
No.
So we do need to try that while we're here. So that was a fantastic dinner, wasn't it?
Great.
Totally contented and totally full up, and a lovely experience. So after dinner we decided to go to the Saigon Lounge to see music with John the DJ if you wanted to do some dancing, and we walked in there and there was about 10 people in it. I think because it's so busy in the day.
But that was better than the night before, because there was only 2 people in there the night before, so 10. I mean, it's growing. I think by the end of the cruise there could be in excess of 25 people.
There could be. So we went in there, we thought we'd just have a couple of drinks, and we sat talking. People are just so lovely. We met a lovely lady called Grace from California. There's 2 British couples, the Dawns, 2 Dawns, Stephen and Andy, that we've got to know and are chatting to, and the barmaids, where it was Narong and Sharak, yes. And even they were dancing, and John the DJ will play anything you want, and he plays the top.
He was banging out some tunes,
banging out some tunes. So it was great fun for a couple of hours, but we must admit by 10:30, 11:15 we were beat, weren't we? Yeah. And knowing that the alarm was on to get up to go to we're on a Trishaw excursion tomorrow was just enough. We thought, right, come on, let's get to bed, because the alarm was set for 6:30 again.
I'm already having nightmares on behalf of the man who's going to have to take me in his rickshaw-y thing. I hope he's fit.
But stay tuned to find out how we got on.
So she just sat on me before we started.
So, after a delicious breakfast, it was time for our excursion in Tan Chau. We were called to the tender boats and all got on all the 4 different tender boats, and we headed off to Tan Chau. Ready, Paulie?
Ready, Freddie.
Đậu này hay đi nhiều, đậu quấn vào một cái vô.
Đậu này đậu 5 cái luôn được không?
For our rickshaw ride, and we're thinking, oh my god, because we're not small people, as you know, and we're thinking, how is this going to work out? Well, look at this, because I thought in my head that it would be with 2 seats, so you sit together and be quite safe, and not saying it's not unsafe, but be quite easy to get into and out. We pulled up, and there's these, as you can see here, rickshaws that literally one person sits there, you're like sat in a bucket, aren't you, that's been pulled along by a guy on a cycle. And I'm thinking, oh my god, how do we get in there? And 2, hanging on, and I want to do some filming and stuff. But actually, the guys were very, very helpful. You have a beer crate that you stand on,
it's all high tech. There's no messing about. The technology's there. There's a beer crate with a bit of wood on top.
Yeah.
And we were in the queue, and there was so we're at the back of the queue. So there's Carole, then me, and then there's 2 other people. And I don't know their names yet, to be fair, but the lady, we're just laughing all the time.
Yeah, American lady.
She's just so much fun, and she was a bit worried about how she was going to get on. But then I was counting with the people in front of us in the queue, and then who I was going to get. And I looked back, and this poor old fella that was going to have to drag me along, hopefully I'm not doing him a disservice, but he looked 80 if he was a day. He either had a very, very tough paper round when everything was uphill, or he was about 80. And I'm thinking, like, I wonder if he's done the same as me, or I wonder if he's counted down the queue, thinking, why am I going to take him?
Exactly. But anyway, getting on wasn't graceful, but I managed it, and sat in there. It's best to sit with your sort of legs crossed, isn't it? And then you can hold on to the sides. But it was just fabulous. The words can't describe what fun that was and the things that we've seen. But so what we'll just do is we'll put this footage in here, and you can see this was first of 2 rides.
Oh, 2 rides, yeah.
So this is our first ride, getting to the silk weaving factory.
Come on, Annie, you can do it. Hey,
Okay.
Chợt sắp.
Actually, it feels quite stable now. I was a little bit worried at first, but actually, just feel sorry for the driver having to pull me along. Look at this.
This way, please.
What was that like then, Paulie? That was fun, wasn't it?
Could have done with a bit more suspension on mine. Plus I had the oldest man in Vietnam on my cycle, but...
I really enjoyed that. That was fun. I was a bit scared to start with because it's a little bit rickety, but actually it's a bit rickety. It's a bit rickety.
Is it a rickety shore?
But that was cool. And then we got to the silk weaving factory, which again, just learning about the local crafts and people's jobs and stuff. Yeah, it was really interesting.
What I found, you go into this place and they've got 2 silk weaving machines. I don't know what the correct terminology is, but what they do, they've got they're called punch cards.
Yeah.
And it's just this long card. There's I don't know how long, and it's got all these little holes in it, and it gets fed through this machine, and it tells the machine. And when I say machine, I mean we're talking this piece of kit is probably 50, 60, 70 years old. It's certainly not modern by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, second hand from Japan, weren't they?
And it tells the machine what to do with patterns and stuff. And then they turned them on, and I tell you what, talk about clackety, rackety,
well,
whatever.
And the noise that people are working with in, but they do have the earplugs.
These are second hand when they were brought to Vietnam from Japan. Yeah. So at that time they only costed about $2,500 US. But at the moment, if you want to buy the brand new jackloom machine, it would cost you about $6,000 to $8,000 US. Normally they are imported and transferred in different parts, and it may take a mechanic about 2 even 6 weeks to put all every part together to make this jackloom machine. Yeah. So with this jackloom machine, one of this one it can weave the silk for about 16 to 20 meters, so that's about 30 to 60 feet of silk per day. Each of the local employees can operate about 6 to 7 or even 8 jackloom machine at a time. Yeah. So the jackloom machine has played a very important role in the textile industry as well as the programmable machine. Like the post manager Tony mentioned about the great-grandfather of IBM, because IBM inspired and adopted the method to create a punch card to restore and report information. Yeah?
Go out the back, and there was like one lady, and she seemed to be running about 40 of them.
Yeah.
It was like
So after observing obviously them all working away, there's a shop there. Where you can buy obviously all things made of silk, and look what I've bought. Woohoo! It was very expensive. It was 48,000 Vietnamese dong.
48,000.
48,000.
That's just madness.
Guess how much that is?
Well, 1,000,000 dong is 33 quid. So 100,000 dong is £3.30. So 48,000 is about just under half of £3.30. So I reckon that cost about £1.50.
I know, but how awesome's that? And our new friends Tom and Jane bought some pyjamas,
some
silk pyjamas, and it costed $20.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah,
mad.
Yeah.
So I'm a woman of a certain age, and I've got my little USB fan, but I've got this now, so I'm very, very happy.
As long as I'm not employed to be your official fanner.
Join us in our next video where there's a clash of the titans as myself and Carole go head to head in a trishaw race. We explore more of Vietnam and we cross the border into Cambodia. You can see more of our Amawaterways Amadara adventures by watching one of these videos next.